Glasses, what up, man?
What's the deal, Mac? Man, what's happening?
Man, not that you need an introduction, but introduce yourself.
Glasses Malone, man. The East Side's very own. What's happening?
Man, any new projects coming out?
Yeah, man. January 17th, I dropped the first record off the new project. The song was called Kanye Shoulda Never Married That Bitch. Just some gang, you know what I'm saying, from the West to everybody else about not being able to turn hoes into housewives, you know, just having fun, man.
And I always dreamed of turning a hoe into a housewife.
Yeah, it's a bad dream. It's a nightmare. It'd be a nightmare. He over there living that nightmare right now.
Hey, what you think about him and Antonio Brown working together?
I mean, it's two geniuses for sure. Antonio Brown is a genius on the field, and Ye is pretty brilliant with the music. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the hell they come up with.
So you watch Kev Mac videos?
Hard, man. I'm a Kev maniac, man, for real. Like, you grew up gangbanging in LA, you know what I mean? You come up under your tribe and all of your older homies, but you hear all these other stories about different neighborhoods and different gangs. And to watch Kev Mac, like, you can really put all of that shit together. It's kind of like, it's low-key, like, brilliant. It's really informative, you know what I mean?
Who are some of your favorite interviews on my channel?
It's a great question. So number one for sure, cause is the OG homie from 9-0. Miz. Miz, cause is a fool. Mumpy is fire. His shit was fire, cause I love Mumpy shit. Keystone is like growing fast. I love Keystone interview. Cause you could tell like he actually remembers exactly what happened, you know, at that time. Can't go wrong with Cody. That nigga is amazing. That nigga funny as hell. But his shit was like legendary. I like Giacomo's shit. It's just like this authenticity about him that really I love. You know what I mean? You could tell he a real Campanella nigga. You know what I mean? And he proud of it.
What was your first interview you seen on my channel? Do you remember?
That's a great question. What would be the first one?
Would it be after Nugget or before Nugget?
It might have been before.
Okay. So you original.
Yeah.
You original.
You know what was my favorite one for a while?
What's that?
The one you did with the kitchens. The kitchen shit was fire too.
But
you know what's fucking me up? I didn't realize how old of a gang they was.
Yeah.
They're super old ass gang, so.
One of the first Crips,
yeah. And I know a lot of kitchen niggas, so you know that shit was dope to watch their history.
Yeah.
I like that shit though, but Keystone shit is really approaching because he remembers it like really good. You know what I mean? He remembers a lot of shit.
Right. Cause see, here go the thing. And you may have noticed this, but I tell people all the time, and normally I don't talk like this during interviews.
Yeah, it's all good, yeah.
But Stone lived it, and like us, you never really stopped living it.
Yeah.
So that's why his memory's so good, because you're going over shit daily. But now you have some old dude, let's say Acutes. So Acutes' memory is great now, but at first it was limited.
Yeah.
When you don't talk about stories over the years, you forget them.
Yeah. Cute shit dope too. I fuck with Cutes. But Stone, like, I like it because it ain't with ego.
Right.
Like his ain't like
put the fact.
Putting it. It's like this is what it was. Like I like how he talk about the families. Like he talk. It's a respect. Like you can tell he really clashed with them, and it's a respect about it. So I like the fact that he telling stories with no ego. Like this is how it happened.
Right.
So I like that a lot.
Yeah, Stone been around too. From the
and his
beginning.
he got one of them names, you know, where you hear. But Mumpy shit is real smooth. I like Mumpy shit a lot. And I really fuck with Mumpy shit. And Miz, that nigga he just got character, man. He just a flavored ass G ass nigga, man. So you gotta like her shit.
When did you get into the rap game and how?
So I picked up a mic in 2002. I really didn't grow up wanting to be no rapper. I was already 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I was grown. I was already gangbanging every day, selling sherm. And my mom was, you know, she was on my head. My little brother had just got out of YA. He kept getting in trouble. He came home wanting to rap. And he came to me like, yo, let's rap. Like we should rap together. I think he really wanted me to pay for the studio time. 'Cause at that time, I was having some street money. But, you know, this was my little brother. And I was like, yeah, let's try it. So we started to go to the studio. My older brother, Pooh, was managing us. He was rapping at that time, too. And we just started doing it. And I liked how it felt. It was real therapeutic. It was a way to discuss all the shit we was going through in the streets at that time. So I just liked it, and I kept going. He got in trouble again, and I kept going anyway. And I liked it. I just wanted to do it more and more and more and more. It just made sense to me. And I met Dre around 2004, 2005, and he was like, yo, you should be doing this shit for a living. And it's been on like that ever since.
You actually lived it and actually was running the streets and playing your part before you got in the studio. So how do you look at guys that get in the studio first and then start acting like they gangbang?
It's tough, right? Because, like, theoretically in hip-hop, I got on kind of older. I was like 25, 26 by the time I got a record deal. So that whole time, you know, you gangbanging, you living the life. You selling your dope, you getting your money, you on Crenshaw, you at the street races, you at somebody hood day, hood parties, you know, you doing a normal thing. So it was different for me, like, because I did get on late. It's gonna be tough for anybody that's like, you know, a rapper and then you start gangbanging right when you're a successful rapper. It's always gonna be this lack of respect that your homies have for you. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we see a lot of rappers going through now, where the homies like, well, you ain't did nothing for the hood because, you know, you 18, 19 years old, shit, it ain't much. You could do some things when you in school, but it's different when you gangbanging full time, you know, for a living. So they just seeing tough, you know what I mean? Because they trying to prove two things at once and they really don't go together.
What part of the county of LA did you grow up in?
The east side, for sure. Los Angeles, Watts, Compton, my whole life.
You moved around a little bit?
Just Watts and Compton. My mom lived in Compton. She had her house. So when my dad and my mom broke up, I was like 3 or 4. So my dad moved with his old lady. They got a house in Watts in the neighborhood on 117th. So I just been back and forth pretty much the whole time.
Tell me a little bit about Mom's and Pop's occupation back then.
So Pops was like a hustler. He used to drive tow trucks. He actually put my mom through nursing school. My mom became a registered nurse professionally, but she had more of a desire for better things than maybe even nursing was able to afford at that time. So she was a hustler, you know, in her own rights. Even back then, she was doing some white collar stuff. Pops owned tow trucks. He owned his own tow truck, so he would work his ass off and had a little hustle to go with it. So that was pretty much both of them at that time.
So I take it you kind of got hustling or your motivation to get in the studio from your parents.
Yeah. I definitely felt like being sitting around and just sitting on your ass wasn't the thing, for sure. I got that from them. And if I be honest, probably like my hustling ways do come from them. You know what I mean? Like the first time my mom ever caught me selling sherm, she bust my mouth open. You know what I mean? Like, I told her the truth. She asked me, was I hustling? And I told her I was. So I was selling sherm, and she hit me in my mouth. I got out the car. My whole mouth was busted. I was spitting out blood. Second time she caught me selling sherm, she tried to run me over with her car. And the third time she caught me selling sherm, she took me to get my own 16. And said, you can't let nobody cheat you. Like, she already could tell I was committed. My father didn't really know at all. My mom went back to jail. She went to prison when I was around 17. And so I was 16, 17. So then I'm at my dad's house on the 7 every day. And now it went from being just a weekend, you know, Thursday to Monday to every day. And I don't know, my dad just never knew. He never found out. Like, even when I was going to jail for hustling and everything was going bad sometimes, I just never called home. You know what I mean? I always got myself out of my own trouble. So there was no reason to call my dad or my stepmom. And my mom, she was in trouble, so it wasn't nothing she could do at that time.
So was mom selling weight or small time?
So when my mom finally went down, so she always was gonna fuck with too much work. You know what I mean? The last case that she got 240 months over, she got caught with 10 birds, 7 gallons of PCP. And the person she was with kind of folded on her. Like, it was her work, regardless of, however it was going. But if the person wouldn't have folded on her, she might have got 120 months. And he would have got like so much time. But because he didn't want to do no time, even though she was paying him, he turned and she ended up getting 240 months. So she always was gonna fuck with a little bit too much.
Did you go visit moms while she was gone?
They wouldn't approve my visit from Feds. I couldn't. They wouldn't let me get on. I was denied twice. So it wasn't happening.
And where's mom's at today?
She passed away. She died roughly 84 months into her sentence. And I'll never forget it. I was on a tour bus. It was like 2010. And I was touring with Tech 9. And I just remember waking up, like my phone, and I looked at my phone, and my phone had like 30 missed calls. And it was like a weird number, like I think like kind of up north, Northern California. She was in Dublin at the time. And I noticed Tone kept calling me Tony Lane from Treetop. And so I called Tone back first because that was the number I recognized. I hit Tone. I'm like, Tone, what's up? He like, man, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm on this tour bus. I'm like, what's happening? He like, man, you straight? I'm like, yeah, I'm straight, nigga. Like, what's good? And him trying to get into that conversation because Tone and my mom knew each other. They did business. And he was just trying to tell me, and he finally got it out. Like, man, dog, they saying mom's passed away. You know what I mean? We got to figure something out. And I finally started checking my voice message and shit on my phone, and they was telling me to call, and when I called, they told me the whole story, and it was all fucked up.
Man, when you say it was fucked up, tell me how you felt.
Well, it was weird because that was a Friday or Saturday, and I talked to her Wednesday, and she didn't sound sick or nothing. Like, we were just bullshitting on the phone like normal, talking about music and rap, and she was telling me why I shouldn't leave Cash Money at that time. I think I was so frustrated I was so ignorant to the music business that I just wanted to be on my own and learn. And she was like, don't leave them. And she loved them niggas. She loved Baby and them. And she was right, they was good dudes, but I just had to get out of there. But I had just talked to her and everything seemed fine, man. She seemed A1. It didn't seem like there was no problems. She didn't tell me she was sick or she had been in the infirmary or nothing. So it just kind of came out of nowhere. And man, it was just fucked up. It was one of them situations where it's like, damn, I hadn't seen her in so long, and now I wasn't never gonna be able to see her again. To the point, even when we got to the funeral, like, it didn't even look like her. So it was just fucked up.
How did your life or your attitude change after your mother passed?
It didn't really change.
Do you feel like you work harder since she passed, or do you feel like there's anything you want to implement that you guys used to talk about?
You know what? Something did change in my mind specifically. Like, I stopped caring about everything else. You know what I mean? I stopped caring about, this lowrider, this Rag 61, a brand new car. I never cared about it a lot before, but I mean, I was coming through and all kind of shit on people. But that day, I just pretty much didn't give a fuck. And I just never I felt like all the stuff she really went through, when it was all said and done, she would have traded all that shit just to be around. So I think I really picked that up that day where I was like, you know what, man, it don't matter what Bentley, what Ferrari, what lowrider, what race car, none of that shit really mean nothing. And I think that day I decided like that it was always going to be just a challenge. It wasn't never going to be the money. It wasn't going to never be the material goods. It was always going to just be the challenge of overcoming some shit. It wasn't going to really be. I wasn't trying to prove nothing to niggas in the streets no more at all.
Was you a proud son, or did you ever resent your mother going to prison?
Nah, man, I love my mama. My mama was a real low. She never told, you know what I'm saying? Like we were just talking about it, like that's one motherfucker that never let me down. You know what I mean? If she always was gonna be accountable for her stuff. And you know, it's a running joke and shit with the homies that women don't want to be accountable for shit. But Olivia, man, my mom, she was gonna always be accountable for her own shit. She wouldn't let nobody take no cases for her. She just was gonna ride it out. That's just who she was. So I'm proud of my mom and my dad. I always have been.
This might be a strange question, but was your mom associated with any turf?
No, hell no. Olivia's way too player. She just thought that was too. That was funny is Tony Lang, like I said, from Treetop Paru. She did business with him. She knew Anki from Jordan down. She just was gonna get some money. You know what I'm saying?